how are kids supported through their social, emotional journey by teachers in the curriculum, and how are parents kept informed and involved? That's a couple of questions. When we have such a diverse school, we really need to make sure, as I'm saying, we support every child where they are. We have a full-time school social worker and a wellness center. We were the first elementary school, to my knowledge, to have a wellness center based on the high school wellness center model, that you could go in the wellness center because you're not feeling well. You go in the wellness center because you can get a lot of sleep. You go to the wellness center because perhaps you or your family are navigating some really big challenges, or maybe really small challenges, but really look to support kids and families in their well-being. We also have 1.5 academic intervention teachers who help children who are reading just below grade level, and ideally keep those students out of the special education process by getting them caught up in their reading before their reading falls too far behind. This year we employed a behavioral response to intervention teacher, essentially a culture climate coach, to really help us bring the joy of learning back, to really help us create systems and structures to support pro-social behavior. And that's honestly been so successful. We're sunsetting that role. We don't expect to have that role in the future because we have a lot of the structures set up already. So it was kind of meant to make oneself obsolete. And there's another part to the question, and how are parents kept informed and involved? Certainly through newsletters and communications directly with a child's teacher. We certainly see the teacher-family relationship as primary. And so a lot of times that is something that will, for example, I just got a text while I'm sitting here to cover a class on Monday while a teacher is able to meet with other staff and a family. And the only time the family can do it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So sure, I'll cover your class for a half hour while you can meet with a family, because again, the teacher and the family is really the primary relationship. Similarly, we mentioned it, but Parent Square is a communication platform that we use for our administration, as well as the teachers and the PTA, to really keep parents informed of everything. And we can send messages out to individual parents, individual classes, individual grades, as well as to everyone. And for example, if we have to pivot to a rainy day dismissal, we'll post on Parent Square by 3 or 3:30 that day to inform parents, hey, come to this door because we're doing a rainy day dismissal. So it can be pretty wide, pretty specific, and pretty timely communications.
One thing I do remember from at least kindergarten and first grade is that we got our particular teacher sent home social emotional learning packets or photocopies with tips for helping your family at home. And some teachers also have these little Komochi dolls that help them do role playing and visualize about big feelings that kindergartners in particular might have. Depends on the teacher, but they're using those various tools.
And I see another one here. Quick question: your approach to kids whom English is not their first language, and how big are the classes? I'll go backwards. Classes in kindergarten, first, second, and third grade are typically 22 students, and that's pretty much a cap that you're going to see in San Francisco and statewide. But those class size reductions never arrived for students in fourth and fifth grade. So in fourth and fifth grade currently, our fourth grade classes are running at 25 students, our fifth grade classes are 20 students, and our 4-5 combination classes are about 25. And that's what we look to do, is to try and cap the numbers of students at 25. Prior to this year, we added an additional upper grade classroom so we could get those numbers down. Before this year, our numbers in fourth and fifth grade were 30, sometimes even 32 students in upper grade classes. And that's pretty consistent around the state and across San Francisco. Question about our approach to kids for whom English is not their first language. Well, about 20% of our school are English language learners in varying levels. Some are from intermediate to advanced and everything in between. And what we do, as with every school around the city, is we run 30 minutes of ELD, or English language development time, for every student who's identified as an English language learner. It doesn't look very different in kindergarten, because the theory is that kindergarten is infused with oral language practice to really help students acquire language skills in English. But we are mandated 5 days a week to teach leveled English language development classes, where the students who are, for example, beginners, are grouped with students of similar abilities, and they work on projects to learn vocabulary and structures that they're going to utilize later in their content area learning. And then another class, for example, you would have the intermediates and the advanced, so they could learn more advanced language structures and vocabularies, and again, to apply that to their content area learning.